Hi, this is Helena Palson. I'm introducing my channel called Intimate Space, which is devoted to finding depth in sex. I chose the word depth because it describes a dimension that you wouldn't notice at first glance, almost like in the way that a lake, you wouldn't be able to see how deep it is or what is in it until you actually enter into it, into that lake, or into that experience. And for me, sexuality is like a lake in that sense. It contains a lot of gifts and revelations and states of being that you wouldn't know until you'd been in there, and that you'd created the conditions which allow you to enter into that kind of depth of experience. So I'm looking at the mechanisms of having a profound sexual experience or a meaningful experience in your body, and that's what this channel is devoted to. Some of the gifts contained within sexuality, I believe, are spiritual evolution, having a spiritual experience, so one with being connected with all of life and not being separate from your partner or other people. It can be an event of the soul where you have self-knowledge and you discover things about yourself that you wouldn't otherwise. Only in the erotic realm can you discover those things. And the idea that eros and having an erotic life is actually a need of the soul. The soul wants us to be erotic and fully expressed in that way. And society and most of culture has actually dampened down and repressed and suppressed erotic urges and expressions. And this channel is about reclaiming those and finding out why erotic expression is important for the soul, and how you go about creating that for yourself in your life, and how other people have created that. I'm going to map out the terrain of sexual awakening, so start off by talking about my own and how I went from one extreme to the other. The first extreme being having a fear of intimacy and having really negative early experiences of sexuality in my early adult life, and thinking this is not for me, it's for other people, but I don't like it, to meeting a partner where with that one partner I had very ecstatic and meaningful and a profound experience of sexuality. So after that I started a journey of seeking what makes finding out what makes an experience profound, what makes one erotic encounter stick with you and one that you will remember for the rest of your life, and what makes one very forgettable where you've forgotten it by the next day that you've had it. So I like helping people to go on that journey and to create the conditions where they'd be likely to have an awakening or to have a valuable, meaningful sexual experience. So now I've also studied and certified in somatic sex education. So I help people with finding out the touch needs of their bodies and another person's, and how you can have a much more physically pleasurable experience. But more than that is, what does physical pleasure do for your internal state of being? And it's also like this channel is an antidote to the mainstream discourses on sexuality, which is about, right now it's about having more and more pleasure for myself, and not about what does that pleasure do for myself, for my soul, and for the world, and for the other person or people that I'm with. It's not all about yourself. It's very narcissistic sexuality now in the mainstream discourses, and this platform is about finding out way more about how eros is, the nature of eros, and how you can have a much more fulfilling time of it. I'm really excited for this. I'm going to invite friends and anyone who's willing to come on and talk to me about their sexual awakening in public. I'm so excited to hear that. And it's also going to be highly practical and tangible and physical, and talking about once and for all where the clitoris is, and female ejaculation, and the fact that that is very real, and what conditions you need in order to have female ejaculation, and how it's actually a very important and divine and meaningful experience to have as a woman, and if you're with a woman, how to facilitate that. It's like when it's one of the best elements of sexuality that's still not common knowledge or commonly practiced and experienced. And I would like to change that. And also prostate pleasure and health. That's a whole thing in and of itself that still there's quite a bit of taboo around it, which is such a pity. And so I'm going to talk about the physical bodily sites of having a deeper experience, like a gateway to, they say it's the cervix and the prostate are a gateway to higher states of being and experience. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to more.